In the month of January, there are 4 big wrestling shows for me. There's UK Takeover, there's Takeover Phoenix, there's the Royal Rumble, and on a total side note, I'm going to see Destiny's Carnage event. Made the mistake last week during my NXT UK review of saying potentially NXT UK could sneak up on us and be the best event of January. Well, NXT proper just came and slapped me in the face this week, didn't it? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your NXT review for January 9th, 2019. Let's get that house cleaning out of the way. Go up into the annotation up above. You will see previous Q&As of mine. Go to the November Q&A if you want to leave comments for the next Q&A. Go check out previous NXT and NXT UK reviews. Those playlists are up and running. There will be no NXT UK reviews this week, but I will be doing a preview video at some point for the NXT UK Takeover Blackpool that is happening this Saturday. It looks like a pretty damn good show, despite what I just said in my introduction there. While we're doing house cleaning, I will say, for those of you that were aware, I was having a few social media issues. A couple of snowflakes decided to flag me down on Twitter, so I was in Twitter prison for a little while, but I'm out now, as most of you know. But if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at SpazPhoenix1, Spaz Phoenix with the number 1 at the end. It's all good. I got a couple different groups on Facebook. Come and find me. Put in Spaz Phoenix in the search engine. You guys know what you're doing. In the annotation, topical videos, as I say, other reviews, previews, the tackle series, etc. We will be doing tackles, obviously, for Takeover Phoenix and the Royal Rumble. Those will be coming, obviously, later in the month. And, yeah, as I say, UK Takeover Blackpool is this coming Saturday, so please stay tuned for everything as it is to do with that. I may or may not, at some point, do a video, because, you know, my opinions are so popular on stuff like this. I may do a video sometime later on, my thoughts on Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and All Elite Wrestling and all the announcements that they made at their little parking lot party there. It's interesting. There's a lot of different talking points. There's a lot of, if I was going to quote Simon Miller, there's a lot of ups and downs that I could talk about. May do it. Are you guys interested in that? Are you guys interested in me reacting to the news, reacting to the rally that they did that just so happened to be in the city where WWE was doing SmackDown? Let me know down in the box below. I may do it, I may not. It's totally up in the air at the moment, and really it's got to do with timing and if I can etch out the time to do it. Let's talk about NXT this week, though. We start off with the graphics telling us it's going to be a double main event. It's going to be Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair 3, yay, and EC3 versus Adam Cole, baby. Now you got 2 matches here with potentially 2 different superstars that are going to the main roster eventually. They've had the graphics on Raw and SmackDown, etc., and you know, Nikki Cross is going up. Lacey Evans is going up for some reason, even though she's trash. Heavy Machinery is going up. Lars Sullivan is going up. He's kind of trash too. Who else is going up? There's lots of people going up. It's going to be fine. Nikki Cross is the one we're losing that breaks my heart, but because you know they're going to ruin her for good. Gargano starts off the show, wishes the NXT universe a happy 2019, talks about 2018 being a bit of a roller coaster and that the fact that he realized success is measured in wins and losses. That's why last year was a roller coaster. Effort and pride don't matter. The type of person you don't matter. Wins do. Titles do. I will become a champion in 2019, and then he stops for his applause. There's some Johnny Wrestling chants, there's some Johnny Badass chants, there's some DIY chants, and he says, let me talk about Ciampa for a second. I heard what Ciampa said, but I just want to remind you guys that one moment in that cage a couple weeks ago means nothing. He's still a piece of trash with the title I want, but there is another title in the NXT, you know, in the NXT sphere, and, you know, how do you guys feel about Gargano versus Ricochet? He's a, you know, that's another title, that's a title I want, I'm going to take it. Ricochet comes out. As Ricochet is coming out to the ring, this is not a chant that I think we've ever heard before. Once he's in the ring, grabs the microphone, etc., but before he says a word, the whole crowd at Full Sail is chanting, "That's a champion," which is good. It's different, and it's got a little bit more oomph of respect from it than just a very generic, you know, this is awesome, or both these guys, or whatever, which is still great. You know, you're still enjoying the show, you're still participating as an active participant and all that sort of thing. But that's a champion is a very unique thing to chant at somebody who, like, let's be real, for all intents and purposes, as entrenched as Ricochet is now in the NXT field, he's still relatively new in the grand scheme of things, unless you knew him from other places, which I didn't. Ricochet comes out, sort of a smirk on his face. You know, man, if you wanted a shot at my title, all you had to do was ask, are you going to take it from me face to face, or are you going to jump me behind my back like I've seen you do to other people? I hear you're Johnny Takeover, but I promise you, at Takeover Phoenix, I'm going to walk out still the champion. Ciampa comes out to cut them both off. He says something about wins and titles being what matters, and Johnny just cuts him off and basically tells him to fuck off, so he doesn't even really get to have his thought even started. Aleister Black introduces them on, I don't want to say the Titantron, because it's not quite, like, their Tron is like ground level, which makes the NXT arena look a bit different. But Ciampa comes in and he says, you know, Ciampa, I wish you'd be more worried about me. I'm the one you've got to worry about. I'm more of a threat than your dog of war over there, which is a nice little touch. Nice little dig at Gargano, even though he's focused on Ciampa, which is great. The lights go out. He jumps Ciampa on the ramp because Ciampa's standing about halfway down the ramp. You got Ricochet and Gargano in the ring, sort of face-to-face, sort of watching what's happening on the ramp. You got Ciampa halfway down the ramp, looking at the Tron. Lights go out. Black is on the ramp, kicking the shit out of Tommaso Ciampa. They try to suplex each other on the announce table. It doesn't really work, and they sort of brawl out of the building. And then, for reasons, Gargano, standing in the ring, shrugs his shoulders very comedically and super kicks Ricochet in the face, which is awesome. And I don't get it, because, like, Johnny Gargano's being a dick, but he's being a dick in such a way that the crowd are still sort of behind him. You know, Johnny Wrestling chants, Johnny Badass chants, DIY chants, but the segment ends on the crowd chanting Johnny Failure at him, but he's the one standing. The champion is on the ground. The other two people he has to worry about have left the building. He's the only person standing. So of the four of them, he's the one that hasn't failed at anything in this segment. The Full Sail crowd is weird. This is a great opening segment, and fuck me if we're getting Gargano versus Ricochet for the North American Championship. That could potentially be a main event, depending on how you do. I know Black and Ciampa will be, because Ciampa's like the best heel they have right now. But it's one of those things where, you know, we're talking this year specifically about this being the first time that women are going to main event WrestleMania. You know, the idea that we're going to get Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, and that is a good enough match and an important enough match that that title deserves to main event. If you take it to its fullest potential and you do Johnny Gargano versus Ricochet for that North American Championship, and you did put it in the main event of a takeover, it wouldn't be out of place, is all I'm going to say. I mean, we've got Belair versus Baszler, and that's not... It's going to be a good match, but it's not one you would put in the main. You've got the tag title match we're going to talk about later on that was announced tonight, which is going to be good. It'll be fun. It'll be a nice little romp, and it'll get us through to the next pay-per-view, but it shouldn't main event. Ciampa, Black, yes, they should main event. It's the longest story for the biggest title, but sometimes you don't have to. I mean, it wasn't received very well, but you had Rollins versus Ziggler in a match that was good enough or WWE thought it was good enough to main event a show. Now, the fact that, you know, people started hijacking it and chanting "this is boring" and chanting along with the clock because it was the what was it? It was the Iron Man match, was it not? But it was the idea that the Intercontinental Championship, being the workhorse title, could main event a pay-per-view. This match could main event a pay-per-view. I'm not saying it's going to. It's probably not. Let's be real for a second. But good shit all around. We got to build up Black versus Ciampa a little more. Everybody wins. In the back, we announced the fact that my clipboard doesn't want to stay in place, apparently. But in the back, we also announced that Undisputed Era are going to be defending their tag team championships against the War Raiders. Who didn't see that coming? War Raiders are fun. That'll be a good match. Really, really interesting that other members of the Undisputed Era are on the TakeOver card and Adam Cole isn't. But we'll leave that for now. Cross versus Belair 3, which is one of two main events. It's a double main event, even though the main event is the last match. Anyways, lost my place, because that's what happens. Let's go NIKKI EST chance to start off the match. Pie face by Belair, crossbody by Nikki Cross, because that just makes sense. Back elbow by Cross, drop kick by Belair, head scissor by Cross, an apron trapped beat down by Cross, press slam moonsault combination by Belair and an abdominal stretch, backbreaker by Belair, suplex by Belair that's countered into a NIKKI DDT by NIKKI Cross. And when I say it's countered, she gets NIKKI Cross upside down, up in the big delay vertical suplex like power spot. NIKKI basically floats back down into a DDT. It's fucking gorgeous. Inverted DDT by Cross and mounted punches by Belair. Double knees by Cross and she hits the purge, but Belair rolls out of the ring. Backpack sleeper by Cross, who gets backdropped by Belair on the steel rampway, mimicking their previous match. Thinking it's going to be a double count out again, they both get in on the count of 9. Nice little suspense spot there, but to have another fuck finish because you had the double count out and then you had the Aleister Black interference, like the commentators were very good about telling us. Very awesome storytelling from Morrow and Nigel McGuinness on that one, letting us know, basically the story that got us here. They trade some punches. Belair eats the post shoulder first, but comes back for the KOB is her new finishing mover, which is a torture rack, which of course doesn't sell the fact that she just ran her shoulder into a steel post. But I'll probably get called something or other for pointing that out. Anyways, Belair gets the win. You guys know, it hasn't changed since last year. I have no problem with her. She's great in the ring. Her gimmick sucks, though, so if she's the one that takes out Baszler at TakeOver, I'm just going to roll my eyes a whole bunch. We get a outside promo from the Street Profits, who are basically beatboxing and rapping about the fact that 2018 wasn't that great, which is nice. We replay Matt Riddle's 2 wins over Cassius Ohno plus the beatdown after Ohno lost the second time on the last episode of NXT. Last episode of NXT, let's be real for a second, I did review it, but it was basically a highlight show with one match. And as I said last week, if you're going to only have one match on a show, it shouldn't be a Cassius Ohno match. No, it shouldn't. We got Keith Lee being interviewed in the back because he's buddies with Matt Riddle, apparently. Keith Lee, calls what Cassius Ohno did to him very troubling, and he invites Cassius Ohno to come to NXT next week and bask in his glory. So I'm hoping, I haven't read the spoilers, hoping Ohno is going to get his ass handed to him next week on NXT, which is really, really good. Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel, the European Union tag team that has actually been forming on NXT UK, they had a match tonight against some jobbers, but the jobbers looked really good for jobbers, so good for them. Fabian Aichner, Marcel Barthel, as a tag team, they could be something. Fabian Aichner's intense as fuck. Marcel Barthel is got the heel that's so serious you laugh at him thing going on. So I don't know how that's going to work, but as I say, Aichner, fuck, put that guy in the North American title picture as well. I wouldn't mind one bit. Speaking of things I don't mind one bit, EC3 versus Adam Cole in our main event. Collar and elbow tie up, and each man work the arm, and Adam Cole, I can speak, I swear, locks on a headlock. Headlock gets reversed by EC3, shoulder tackle, chops and a front slam, enziguri by Cole. EC3 eats the ring steps on the outside. Cole boots the arm in the ropes, ties up the arm with play up. Again, commentary really, really good, talking about EC3's shoulder injury, talking about how we shouldn't, we shouldn't forget it, pretty much, as he's got his arm tied up in the ropes, and his arm is absolutely getting booted to hell by Adam Cole. It's good. There goes my clipboard again. Sorry about that, guys. Just doesn't want to stay tonight. I really don't know. Snapmare by Cole and elbows to the neck and shoulder, which is good, followed by a key lock, which is good. The psychology is wonderful. Spinning neckbreaker by Cole. Again, psychology. Outside in suplex by EC3. Both men trade some punches. There's a slam and an elbow by EC3. Modified DDT by EC3 and a hangman by Cole. Boot by Cole. Backbreaker and a release German suplex by EC3. Armlock takedown by Cole. Brainbuster over the knee. Working the neck. Working the shoulder. It's all good. Deadlift powerbomb by EC3 says, fuck everything you just did to my shoulder, which was great. Unfortunately, the other members of the Undisputed Era hop up on the apron. There's a distraction, a super kick, and a last shot, and Adam Cole, baby, gets the win. 4-on-1 beatdown after the match, and the save is made by the War Raiders because they have a tag team title shot. This match was great, if not a little bit predictable, seeing as EC3's the one that's leaving. He's going to leave on his back. Adam Cole's the one that's staying. But even though EC3 is leaving the brand, even though he's going up to the main roster, Raw, how are both of these guys not booked on TakeOver? Adam Cole, baby, is leading his guys into battle, defending their tag team titles, etc. Adam Cole has said that this is going to be the year that Undisputed Era have a gold rush. So I'm assuming that, I don't know, Bobby Fish is going to pick up the can't think, my words are escaping me, the North American Championship, and Adam Cole's going to go for the big boy belt eventually. I mean, if you get Adam Cole versus Aleister Black, couple pay-per-views down the line for that title, it could be really, really good. But speaking of TakeOver Phoenix, what have we got so far? Potentially, we've got Ono versus Riddle. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm just looking at the way the cards are falling. I predict we get some shenanigans with Ono and Lee next week. Matt Riddle comes in, saves his buddy. You know, it's not that hard to put together. Potentially Ricochet versus Gargano, which is going to steal the show. Apologies to everybody else on the card. If that's the match, that match is going to steal the show. We've got Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders, which will be fine. Baszler versus Belair, which again will be fine. And Black versus Ciampa, which is the version we have right now of the longest standing story currently in NXT. It's a great card. It's really, really good. Like I said, it really slaps me in the face for saying that NXT UK was going to blow them out of the water, but they still could. And that's coming up this coming Saturday. As I say, later on tonight, maybe tomorrow, we're going to get the previews and predictions for that card. It's only 5 matches, so, you know, come along, play the pay-per-view, pick them. You guys know the drill. Make your picks, rank your picks, watch me on Twitter. If it hasn't been taken down again by Saturday, I will be keeping score on Twitter. You guys can play along. It's all good. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.